In this video, I will continue talking about the design of communications, or taking you through different kinds of media. So the next kind of medium that I want to talk about is TV advertising. Now, if you remember what I said before, TV advertising is still the most popular form of advertising there is in terms of attracting advertising revenues. So what happens in TV advertising? Now, this is very similar to print, say, magazines and newspapers. Now, there's TV stations out there that will come up with some kind of editorial content that's interesting to a particular group of people that will watch TV, out of their own volition because they want to. Now, and then as a company, you can rent advertising space on that TV station, right? So the TV station will go to companies or will talk to companies and say, now, I have this certain group of people watching my program. Now, if you want to talk to them, if you want to reach them, you can do that, but in return for that, I want money. So this is a basic business model of most TV stations, right? So generating interest from the programs on the one hand, and then selling that access to companies on the other hand. Now, for instance, from CNN, I assume most of you have CNN. Now, this is just an example. CNN, like other TV stations, they will have dedicated units that will do nothing else all day long but try to sell advertising space, right? So this is CNN commercial. Now, you could look it up if you want to, if you're interested. Now, what they will typically have on these sites also what they call case studies, right? And what these case studies are meant to do, or what they're meant to illustrate, is to showcase certain kinds of campaigns that they've done for clients in the past as a testimonial or the frame of reference, or in terms of advertising themselves. So this is an example I pulled from the website, Emirates destination Dubai. So these will typically have these elements, right? So the overview, it says Emirates wanted to showcase Dubai from the eyes of travelers who came through Dubai, all while creating the link that Emirates is the ideal travel partner for your visit to or through Dubai, right? So Emirates going to CNN and say, well, help us showcase Dubai and the airline, right? Now, then it will have a quick description of what they did. So we launched a TV campaign that was tied to our internet site and rah-de-rah-de-rah. And now, typically, they will also talk about the results, right? So the campaign, what does it say? The overall TV and digital campaign yielded strong results with intention to visit, increasing from 64% from control respondents to 88% for test respondents. So, apparently what CNN did was some kind of study examining the effectiveness of the campaign, and they found, well, people that watched the campaign, well, they were more likely and more interested in going to Dubai, right? So again, most TV stations will have these case studies. Now, just to give you a taste of what it looks like, where TV stations showcase or advertise their services to companies by showing what it is that they can do to reach a target audience and achieve their goals. Now, again, similar to print advertising, let me do a quick evaluation. So what's good about TV advertising? Why does it attract so much advertising money? Now, this is because, unlike print, the combination of pictures, sounds, and voices is possible, right? So there's a lot more for you to play with, and also typically it will have a low cost per contact and a high reach, right? So yes, I know they will talk about the internet, Facebook, Snapchat, Google, whatever they're all called. Now, but if you really want to reach a large number of people very quickly, there's still probably nothing like television, right? So television still has the biggest reach, in particular with certain kind of channels or certain kinds of programs, right? But if your aim is to generate lots of attention, well, maybe then the Super Bowl or the FIFA World Cup, the Football World Cup, will be your best option. And and yes, it will be expensive, but if you break that down into the cost per contact, how much money you will pay for reaching one person, now that will be typically low compared to other media, right? So in that case, television comes out favorably. So what are the disadvantages? Now, the disadvantages is that it's, for some kind, depending what kind of programs or channels you look at, it can be difficult to address specific target groups. Say, for example, take Football World Cup, right? Who watches the World Cup finals? Basically everybody in the world, right? Not only a target group, but also anybody else around. So I don't know anybody at least in Germany, who hasn't watched the World Cup final in 2014? No, but everybody I talk to has seen it, right? Now, what does it tell you for your advertising strategy, your marketing strategy? Maybe, that's not a very good channel to reach a specific group of customers. Now, also, apart from that, low attention and reactance of viewers. So if you are like me a bit, what do? If I watch television and the ads come up, I just switch channels or get up and do anything else until the ads are over, right? So just because the ad is being broadcast doesn't really mean that people are watching, right? Now, and also keep in mind that whereas the cost per contact can be low, the absolute cost of production and the absolute cost of transmitting the message can be very high, right? So typically, TV advertising will require a substantial investment on the company side. Now, if you really want to get noticed and reach a fairly large number of people. The next medium I want to talk about refers to all kinds of internet media or social media, something that we call digital marketing or digital advertising. Now, again, this is a massive topic that would be enough for an entire course by itself. So what I just want to give you a brief overview of the three main kinds of advertising through digital channels. Now, this is online advertising, keyword advertising, and social media. Now, online advertising is anything that will refer to banners or layer ads, affiliate advertising, or something they call retargeting, right? So meaning, we've had the example before, you go online, you search for a pair of sneakers, a cookie will load onto your computer that it will ensure that for the weeks to come, unless you clean out your browser, you will see an ad, a banner ad for these shoes over and over and over again, because they hope, it's only a matter of how many times I show that ad to you, eventually you will buy, right? Now, what I will do now is talk about the two other kinds, keyword advertising and search engine optimization, and then social media. So keyword advertising and SEO, now this refers back to the question why Google is the most or the second most valuable company in the world, right? Now it refers back to the question, how does Google make its money? Why are they so incredibly rich? Now, and they're rich because they have come up with something that's called keyword advertising, and I assume that most of you are familiar with it, but just let me repeat the basic principles. Now, I also assume that most of you use Google. So what happens if you use Google? So what I've done here, I need to apologize because the search term is in German, because I pulled that from Germany, because it doesn't work if I enter an English term in the German version of Google. Now, what I put down here is Krankenversicherung Student. Now, that means in English, health insurance student. Now, let's assume you come to Aachen one day. Now, and you need health insurance, because everybody needs health insurance in Germany. Now, you enter that term into Google. Now, various things happen. Now, what happens, and what you're interested in, is this part down here, which are the native search results, right? So the Google algorithm will start searching the web, for finding websites or websites that seem to be most relevant to these two search terms, health insurance on the one hand, student on the other hand, and it gives you the result list. Now, what it also does is it provides you with several ads on the top and to the right. Now, these are not native search terms. So what Google does, or what Google offers companies, is that they say, well, assume that somebody searches, and you can narrow it down by geographic region, for example. Assume that somebody in Aachen searches for the terms health insurance and student. Now, would you like to place your ad in that context, right? So if that person searches for these two words, would you like to place your ad on the top or on the right? And if you say yes, we would be interested, well, then Google makes you pay for that. Now, this is an automated bidding process, but this is essentially how Google makes money, by renting out advertising space that's tied to particular keyword searches. Now, this is what they call keyword advertising. Now, something different that you may be familiar with is something they call search engine optimization, or they just abbreviate that by SEO, right? From a company perspective, you could say, well, I could buy advertising space from Google, but this will be expensive, and I don't like giving my money to Google. What I will try instead, I will try to understand how the Google algorithm works, right? Because the Google algorithm pulls up websites that are relevant to these specific search terms, And what I try to do, I will try to tweak my own website in such a manner that I will be picked by the Google algorithm, that I will be the first on the native or a natural search list, like this company here, right? Now, so there's entire, companies or advisors or consultants that do nothing else all day long but to tell companies how they should tweak their websites so they get found by the Google algorithm. Now, of course, if Google realizes that you're doing that, they don't think this is particularly funny, right? So if you do that, you will get penalized and go to the bottom of the list. And this is also the reason why Google will change their algorithm continuously, so they can't be outsmarted by other companies, right? But again, keep in mind, this is how Google makes most of its money. So another form of advertising, another channel are social media. Again, this can help explain, well, Facebook is so valuable. Now, companies love Facebook. And why is that the case? Now, this is the case because on Facebook, the distinction between advertising on the one hand, on some kind of personal enjoyment and interacting with friends on the other hand, now this gets kind of blurred, right? So in TV, there's a clear distinction between advertising and program, the editorial content. Now on Facebook, these seem to be kind of the same, right? Now I assume that most of you are on Facebook, as are many of your friends. Now, importantly, not only you and your friends are on Facebook, but also companies like Adidas, for example. Now if you go to the Facebook page of Adidas, what you will see there is lots of Lionel Messi, right? Now they love Lionel Messi. Now, and they will post stories or content about football, about Lionel Messi, anything that they think we will find interesting as Adidas consumers, right? Now, and what will happen then is that hopefully now you go online, you go to Facebook, you read that story. Now, and maybe you not only read it, but you pass it on to somebody else by liking the post, right? Now, essentially what you do when that happens, you're doing a great favor to Adidas, right? Because what you do, you're acting as a multiplier of that information, right? So they post information on Facebook, you come along, you like it with all your friends, and in this case, you're providing a service to Adidas, a service that had they gone through, say, television or print advertising, they would have had to pay for, right? So keep that in mind every time you like something or forward something to your friends. Yes, this can be funny, but also on the other hand, you're acting as a multiplier for different companies. You're essentially giving something for free to companies that otherwise they would have had to pay for. Now let's evaluate digital media in a broader sense, and not with the eyes on a particular channel. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Or to put it differently, why have these media been so tremendously successful? And companies like digital media, such as Google or Facebook or Snapchat, whatever they are, for two main reasons, right? Because it solves two problems for them. The first one being, it allows them to reduce wastage or waste. So remember what I said in the beginning when we talk about media planning, is that when you launch a TV ad, yes, you may reach your target audience, now, but you also reach all the other people that you're not interested in, but that you have to pay for, right? So a lot of your advertising money is wasted, and you know that from the very beginning. Now, Facebook will solve that problem for you, right? Because Facebook will say, okay, I will give you exactly the kind of people, based on all the information I have, I can give you all the people that are part of your target group, and these you pay for, and not for the other ones, right? And not only that, but you can also customize your message, right? So I will allow you to post a very specific ad, or I will allow you to post a very specific video or message, or we'll give you some kind of environment where you can talk specifically to your target group through customized content, right? And so companies love that because it allows them to be very precise about their communication effort. That's one reason. The other reason being why companies love the internet or digital media, now because it allows them to analyze the effectiveness, right? So this is the first point, right? Now this is the second point. So let's assume you launch an ad on the Super Bowl, on the World Cup final. Now you know 1 billion people have watched the ad. Now what does it do to you in terms of sales? Now has this really helped you? And you say, well, yes, I assume that people have noticed, but Are they really buying because they spend all that money on a Super Bowl or World Cup final ad? I don't know, right? So this is kind of difficult to assess. So you know that advertising works, yes, right? But you don't know, I mean, say for traditional media like TV or magazine and newspapers, that's very difficult to assess the specific nature, what exactly happens. Now this is different again for digital media, because now you know, right? Because you launch, say, an ad on Facebook, and maybe you can track how many people have watched the ad, or read through the post, how many people have forwarded it, and how many people have gone on to buy after seeing the ad. Right? So it allows you to establish, to see, to examine if you're really being effective in your advertising. This is, can be, it's very helpful in explaining why digital media have taken away so much of the advertising money, because it solves two of these key challenges. Now, what are the disadvantages, right? So it's not a perfect world in here. Now, one of them being, there's definitely something like bogus clicks and reactions of consumers, right? So if you see a company that has millions and millions of Facebook fans, who are they? Are these really people, or are they just some kind of social bots? And I assume many of them are social bots, right? Now again, the effectiveness, the effect that you have can be difficult to assess as well, right? Now, particularly here, some kind of selective and superficial perception and processing. So people will see the ads, but will they really pay attention? They watch an ad on YouTube, but does it really mean that anything happens afterwards? Now you can measure that, but it doesn't mean that it's effective, every time you launch it. And this is again something important, right? So loss of control over online content and discussions, right? So once you launch an ad on Facebook or post by Lionel Messi, now people can type in whatever they want, and hopefully they will like it and forward it to other friends. Now, the other thing that may happen, and excuse my French, this is what's typically then referred to as a shitstorm, right? So people hating it, or hating your company, hating the ad, and giving you a hard time online about it, and there's nothing much you can do except weather out the storm and try to moderate it. But to a certain degree, yes, you lose control, and this is something you have to live with if you use these kinds of media, which is different from, say, a TV ad where you as a company are in charge, right? There's no possibility for customers to respond. Now that's bad. The upside is that you're the one who calls the shots. Not the same in digital media.